very happy morning, children. And I welcome you all for the Physical Science Unit 5 Magnetism and Electromagnetism. So before we go into the lesson, let us see the learning objectives. After completing this lesson, we will be able to understand the concept of magnetic field. You will know the properties of magnetic field lines, and you will know to calculate the. A very happy morning, children. So now I welcome you all for the Physical Science Unit 5 Magnetism and Electromagnetism. So before we go into the lesson, let us see the learning objectives. After completing this lesson, you will be able to understand the concept of magnetic field. You will know the properties of magnetic field lines, and you will know to calculate the force exerted on a current carrying conductor in a magnetic field. You will understand the force between two parallel current carrying conductors, and you would know the concept of electromagnetic induction and apply it in the case of generators. Appreciate how voltage can be increased or decreased using transformers, and you will understand the applications of electromagnet and apply the knowledge in constructing devices using electromagnets. So what are magnets? Have you all played with the magnets? Of course, everyone would have played with the magnets, right? So magnets are always attractive objects for the humans. Even in fact, famous scientist Einstein has mentioned that he was always attracted by magnets in his childhood. Who is Einstein? Albert Einstein is the name of a scientist who discovered atomic bomb, who made the atomic bomb by creating the formula E is equal to mc square. Very familiar formula, E is equal to mc square. Okay, so based on that formula, atomic bomb was discovered, and it was used to destroy the two familiar cities in Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Okay, so olden days magnets were used by the captains of the ships. Effectively used the magnets to identify the direction of the ship in the sea. Always this magnet in the olden days were used to find the direction. Okay, so there are two kinds of magnets that we can see around us. So one is the natural magnet, and the other one is the artificial magnet. One is the natural magnet and the other one is the artificial magnet. So natural magnets exist in the nature. These kind of magnets can be found in rocks and sandy deposits in various parts of the world. So the strongest natural magnet is lodestone magnetite. So which is the strongest magnet? Natural magnet, lodestone magnetite. So the magnetic property in the natural magnets is permanent. Always in the natural magnets, the magnetic property is permanent. Whereas in artificial magnets were created by us. So the magnetic power will be for a certain period. Okay. So the magnetic property in the natural magnet is permanent. It never gets destroyed. The lodestones were used to make compass. In the olden days. The artificial magnets are made by us. The magnets available in the shops are basically artificial magnets. So whatever magnets we get from the shops are artificial magnets. So in this lesson we will study about properties of magnets, magnetic effect of current, electromagnetic induction and applications of electromagnets. So at first we will see magnetic field. So what is magnetic field? To know about magnetic field, a small activity is given. So you are asked to put a magnet on a table, place some paper clips nearby. If you push the magnet slowly towards the paper clips, there will be a point at which the paper clip jumps across and stick to the magnet. So what do you understand from this? So when you move magnet towards the paper clip, in a certain distance, when in a particular distance, the paper clip will jump and stick to the magnets. What happened there? What happened is, a magnet always has a magnetic field, invisible magnetic field around it. Magnet always emits an invisible magnetic field around it. Okay. So we notice that magnets have an invisible field all around them which attracts magnetic materials. So in this space, we can feel the force. In this space, we can feel the force of attraction or repulsion due to the magnet. So in the particular space between the magnet and the paper clip, there is a force of attraction. We can feel the force of attraction. Due to the attraction or repulsion, the paper clip jumps away or get attracted towards the magnet. So thus magnetic field is the region around the magnet. So define magnetic field. Magnetic field is the region around the magnet where it is magnetic influence can be felt. Where its magnetic influence can be felt. So define magnetic field. Magnetic field is the region around the magnet where its magnetic influence can be felt. It is denoted by B. It is denoted by capital B, and its unit is Tesla, and its unit is Tesla, capital T. Okay, it is denoted by B. Magnetic field is denoted by capital B and its unit is Tesla. So the direction of the magnetic field around a magnet can be found by placing a small compass in the magnetic field. See the picture. Magnet is placed and a small, this is magnetic compass. A small circular one is the magnetic compass which gives the direction. We will come to know the direction by using this magnetic compass. Okay, so when you keep the magnetic compass from north to south, you can see, you can draw lines. You will get a curved line like this. Okay, so you have to draw points where the needle shows. The needle arrow mark will show like this. Okay, so you have to keep the compass like this. Again the needle show towards, point towards the south. So like this you have to draw arrow mark. So when you draw arrow mark like this, you will get a curved line. You will get a curved line which you will come to know the magnetic field lines, which we call as magnetic field lines. Okay. So the magnetic compass plays a very important role to find the magnetic line of force. So magnetic field can penetrate through all kinds of materials, not just air. Okay. So the earth produces its own magnetic field which shields the earth's ozone layer from the solar wind, and it is important for navigation also. So next we will see about magnetic field lines. What are magnetic field lines? The magnetic field line is defined as a curve. It is defined as a curve drawn in the magnetic field in such a way that the tangent to the curve at any point gives the direction of the magnetic field. So in the book you have the diagram. You can see the diagram. You have the arrow marks given in the book. Okay. So wherever you draw the tangent for the curve, wherever you draw the tangent for the curve, it will indicate the direction of the magnetic lines. It will indicate the direction of the magnetic line. So these lines, these curved lines are called as magnetic field lines. Okay, so you can see the curved lines wherever the magnetic effect is felt. You will get a circular line like this. If there is no effect, so you will get a semi-circular line like this, and this is a straight line where there is no effect at all. Okay, so this is how you will draw magnetic field line. So I will show you a picture. This is how you should draw the picture. Okay, magnetic field line. This is how you have to keep the compass and you have to draw this curved lines. So next, magnetic flux. A magnetic flux is the number of magnetic field lines passing through a given area. See in the diagram, so number of lines in the given area. So you are going to calculate the number of magnetic field lines passing through a given area, and it is denoted by the symbol, and its unit is Weber, WB, capital W and small b. Okay. So you are going to calculate the number of magnetic field lines passing through a given area is called as magnetic flux. The number of magnetic field lines crossing unit area kept normal which has to be kept normal to the direction of field lines is called magnetic flux density, and it is shown in the above picture, and its unit is Weber, WB per meter square. Very important definition, children. 2 mark question. Okay, define magnetic flux. The number of magnetic field lines crossing unit area kept normal to the direction of field lines is called magnetic flux density, and its unit is Weber per meter square. So, if the number of lines are less, it is called as less flux density, and if it is more in number, it is called as more flux density. Okay, so then later on down you have an activity just to describe that turtles also follow this magnetic flux lines whenever it has come to a longer distance, and it will move towards its birthplace to lay the eggs. Okay, so by using this magnetic flux. So next we are going to see properties of magnetic lines of force. Brief answer. Okay, properties of magnetic flux. So magnetic lines of force are closed continuous curves extending through the body of the magnet. So what is the first point? Magnetic lines of force are closed. The lines of force are always closed continuous curves. Okay, extending through the body of the magnet. Magnetic lines of force start from the north pole and end at the south pole. Always the line of force starts from north to south. Okay, starts from north pole and ends at the south pole. Magnetic lines of force never intersect. They do not meet each other. Magnetic lines of force never intersect each other. Each and every line is a separate curved line. So they will be maximum at the poles than at the equator. So at the poles there are number of lines. You can see number of lines at the poles. Okay, at the north pole and as well as in the south pole, you can see number of joined together, like it is grouped like thing. Okay, so maximum number of lines will be there at the poles and than at the equator. The tangent drawn at any point on the curved line gives the direction of magnetic field. So these 5 points are very important properties of magnetic lines of force. The next we are going to see magnetic effect of current. So you all know that magnet attracts the iron particles. Okay, so do you know that magnet effect of current, that magnet possesses electric current? Okay, so that only we are going to discuss now. Magnetic effect of current. So it was on 21st April 1820, Hans Christian Ørsted, a Danish physicist, was giving a lecture. He was demonstrating electrical circuits in that class. He had to often switch on and off the circuit during the lecture. Accidentally, he noticed the needle of the magnetic compass that was on the table deflected whenever he switched on, and the current was flowing through the wire. The compass needle moved only slightly so that the audience didn't even notice. But it was clear to Ørsted that something significant was happening. He conducted many experiments to find out a startling effect, the magnetic effect of current. So who found the magnetic effect of current? Hans Christian Ørsted on 21st April 1820. He is a Danish physicist. Okay. When he was demonstrating an electrical circuit in the class, he noticed that magnetic compass, when he kept the magnetic compass near an electrical circuit, and he saw a small deflection in the magnetic compass. So this made him to invent about the magnetic effect of current. So what he did, he aligned a wire XY such that they were exactly along the north-south direction. He kept one magnetic compass above the wire at A and another under the wire at B. So he took two magnetic compass and he took a wire. One magnetic compass was above the wire and another one was below the wire, under the wire. So when the circuit was open and no current was flowing through it. Okay, when the circuit is open, that is when it is switched off, there is no current supply. So the needle of both the compass was pointing to north. So normally a compass needle will point towards the north. So when there is no current flow, the needle pointed towards north. Once the circuit was closed and the electric current was flowing, the needle at A pointed to east and the needle at B to west. So you can see this in the diagram given here. See, when there is no current, this is the wire, X and Y is the wire. Okay, so here there is no connection. So if it is called as open circuit, So there is no current flow in this circuit here. So you have compass A and compass B. So compass A is above the wire. Whereas compass B is under the wire. Okay, so when there is no current flow, both the compass needle is pointing towards north on the same direction. Okay, whereas when the circuit is closed, see here, the circuit is closed here. Okay, so that is the current started flowing now. So see the direction of the needle in A and B. The compass A, after the current flow, the compass A is pointed to east. It is pointing towards east, and the compass B towards the west. Okay, so what do you confirm from this? Absolutely, when there is a current flow near the magnet, it gets deflected. That is, magnet can attract the current. It can give some work. What can be done when you pass a current on a magnet. Okay, this was exactly found by the scientist Hans Christian Ørsted. Okay, so the strength of the magnetic field at a point due to current carrying wire depends on. So how does this work happen? It depends on the given following points. See the points. The first point is the current in the wire. It depends upon the current in the wire, how much volt you are passing. And also the distance of the point from the wire, how long you are keeping the compass and the wire, orientation of the point from the wire, alignment of the wire, then the magnetic nature of the medium. Okay, the whatever compass or original magnet, whatever you are taking, depends upon the magnetic nature of the medium. The magnetic field lines are stronger near the current carrying wire, and it diminishes as you go away from it. Whenever the magnetic field lines are stronger, when the current is very closer. Okay, and when you keep away the magnet, it will automatically get reduced. So this is represented by drawing a magnetic field lines. So how can you represent it? How can you explain it? By drawing the field lines, magnetic field lines. So this is represented by drawing magnetic field lines closer together near the wire and farther away from the wire. So in this diagram, you can also note that current is flowing in one direction. Current is flowing in one direction, that is upward direction. Okay, whereas the magnetic field is opposite in direction. So this indicates that current carrying conductor is always perpendicular to the direction of the current. A magnetic field is always current in one direction, and the magnetic, this is current. Okay, I, we mention it as I, and magnetic field is always perpendicular. Magnetic field is, that is, it can be denoted by B. It is always perpendicular to the direction of the current. So this was clearly explained by Fleming's right hand thumb rule. Very important rule. Fleming's right hand thumb rule. So now I will show you the diagram. So this is what the picture. The magnetic field around a straight conductor. So this is called as right hand thumb rule, and you can see the thumb pointing towards the direction of flow of current. Okay, and the magnetic field is perpendicular towards the current. So B is always perpendicular towards the direction of the flow of current. This diagram is given in the book figure 5.6 in page number 55. The next topic is force on a current carrying conductor in a magnetic field. H.A. Lorentz found that a charge moving in a magnetic field in a direction other than the direction of magnetic field experiences a force. So it is called magnetic Lorentz force. Since charge in motion constitutes a current, a conductor carrying moving charges placed in magnetic field other than the direction of magnetic field will also experience a force and can produce motion in the conductor. So whenever there is a current flow, and if you keep a magnetic compass or magnetic material near the current flow, there will be a magnetic field around the particular distance in the direction of the magnetic field. This was explained by Lorentz, and this is known as magnetic Lorentz force. Okay, so now in the direction, in the activity, see the activity, we will go through it fastly. Take a cardboard and thread a wire perpendicular to it. Connect the wire such that current flows up the wire. Switch on the circuit, let the current flow. Place a magnetic compass on the cardboard and mark the position. Now move magnet and mark the new position. If you join all the points, you will find that it is a circle. So already we have seen this magnetic line of force will be always a circular path which does not intersect each other and will be more near the poles and less in the equator. So this is what given here in the activity. So from this activity, we infer that current carrying wire has a magnetic field perpendicular to the wire by looking at the deflection of the compass needle in the vicinity of a current carrying conductor. So it is always perpendicular to the current. Magnetic field is always perpendicular to the current carrying conductor, current carrying wire. So the conductor here is the wire. The deflection of the needle implies that the current carrying conductor exerts a force on the complex needle. In 1821, Michael Faraday discovered that a current carrying conductor also gets deflected when it is placed in a magnetic field. So we can see that so far what we have seen is the compass gets deflected when you keep the compass or magnetic material near the current carrying conductor. But what Faraday is saying is the current carrying conductor itself will have a deflection. The wire carries the current, then when the magnet comes near the wire itself will have a certain deflection. This was found by Faraday. So in the figure 5.7, we can see that magnetic field of the permanent magnet and the magnetic field produced by the current carrying conductor interact and produce a force on the conductor. So the view perpendicular to the direction of the current is shown in the figure 5.8. So see here. So the magnet and the current flowing upward direction, and the magnetic field is between north and south. So when you keep the magnetic wire near the poles, this is north pole, assume that north pole, and this one is south pole, and this is the wire carrying conductor. And if the magnetic compass is kept near here, so here the current is 0 and the magnetic field into the page. Okay. So whereas after the current started passing, you can see the difference in the diagram like this. So the wire bends slightly like this. Okay. Again it started bending towards like this. Current passes downwards. So this will give you a circular motion which indicates that wire carries the conductor in a circular motion due to the deflection of the current. Okay. So this is explained by Faraday. So in the next page, another diagram is given. The deflection of the wire itself is shown here. Okay, you can see a small deflection here in the wire, a small bend in the wire carrying conductor. Okay, so these bends will give you the deflection, show you the deflection made by the current carrying conductor. Okay, so the next we will see, if a current I is flowing through a conductor of length L kept perpendicular to the magnetic field, then the force F experienced by it is given by the equation. So force F is given by the equation ILB. Force is equal to ILB. So force is equal to ILB, where I is the current and L is the length of the conductor and B is the magnetic field. The above equation indicates that the force is proportional to current through the conductor, length of the conductor and the magnetic field in which the current carrying conductor is kept. Okay. So now see the note given here. The angle of inclination between the current and the magnetic field also affects the magnetic force. So when the current is perpendicular to the magnetic field, the force will be maximum. When the current is perpendicular to the magnetic field, that is I is perpendicular to the magnetic field, the force will be maximum. When it is parallel, the magnetic field, the force will be 0. When it is parallel, the force is 0, and when it is perpendicular, the force will be maximum, which is equal to BIL. So the force is always a vector quantity. A vector quantity has both magnitude and direction. It means we should know the direction in which the force would act. So the direction is often found using what is known as Fleming's left hand rule. It is known as Fleming's left hand rule, formulated by the scientist John Ambrose Fleming. So see here Fleming's left hand rule. It is beautifully explained here in the diagram. So when you stretch your left hand, the thumb point towards the movement of the current and the forefinger towards the field, that is north to south towards the magnetic field, and the middle finger current towards the current. Okay, so thumb towards the force, then forefinger north to south, that is line of flux, and then the middle finger towards the direction of the current. Okay, so thumb you can easily remember, that is why it is given in the red block letters M and M. So thumb indicates movement, forefinger field F. Okay, then the second finger, that is C, and C, that is current. You can easily remember like this. M, thumb indicates movement, forefinger indicates field, and the second finger indicates the current. So it is also explained here also. So towards the thumb towards the motion and the forefinger towards the line of flux. So with the diagram, along the diagram, see the magnetic, two magnets, and the current carrying conductor is like this. Okay, and the field is between the two magnets, and the second finger is towards the direction of the current. So this is Fleming's left hand rule. So this law, the law states that while stretching the three fingers of left hand in perpendicular manner with each other, if the direction of the current is denoted by the middle finger of the left hand and the second finger is for the direction of the magnetic field, then the thumb of the left hand denotes the direction of the force or movement of the conductor. Okay, so when you remember the diagram, you can easily write the law of Fleming's left hand rule. So problem, see the problem here, straight problem using the formula. A conductor of length 50 centimeter carrying a current of 5 amps is placed perpendicular to a magnetic field of induction 2 into 10 power minus 3 Tesla. So find the force on the conductor. So what are all things given here? Length is given, current is given, and the magnetic field is given. That is, length L is given, I is given, and B value is given here. So you're going to find force on the conductor, that is F. The formula for force on a conductor, F is equal to ILB, I into L into B. So 5 into 50 into 10 power minus 2 into 2 into 10 power minus 3. It will give you the answer is 5 into 10 power minus 3 Newton. Okay, problem 2. A current carrying conductor of certain length kept perpendicular to the magnetic field experiences a force F. This we know already. So what will be the force if the current is increased 4 times? Current 4 times. So 4I. Length is halved. So L is half. That is L divided by 2. Magnetic field is tripled. That is 3B. Okay. So you are going to find the force now. I into L into B. So 4I into L divided by 2 into 3B. So 4 3s are 12. 4 3s are 12. 12 divided by 2. So the answer is 6F. So therefore the force increases 6 times. Okay. So next topic is force on parallel current carrying conductor. So we have seen that a current carrying conductor has a magnetic field around it. If we place another conductor carrying current parallel to the first one, second will experience a force due to the magnetic field of the first conductor. Similarly, the first conductor will experience a force due to the magnetic field of the second conductor. So these two forces will be equal in magnitude and opposition in direction. So see the diagram here. So you are going to see the force on parallel current carrying conductors, force on parallel current carrying conductors. So here you can see F1, F2 and B1, B2 magnetic fields, and the distance between the two current carrying conductors is denoted by D, and I1 and I2 are the current. You can see the magnetic flux, circular path. Okay, so this is attraction, this is for attraction, and this is for repulsion. This is the second diagram is for repulsion. See the arrow mark outwards, the force is flowing outwards, whereas here the force is towards, attracted each other. Here it is getting repelled. So F1, F2, then I2 current also getting diverged. So I1 towards upward direction and I2 towards the downward direction, and B2, B1, the distance are all same. So using Fleming's left hand rule, we can find that the direction of the force on each wire would be towards each other when the current in both of them are flowing in the same direction. When the current flows in the same direction, the direction of the current is same. Okay, so that is the wires would experience an attractive force. However, if the direction of the flow of current is in opposite direction, so when the current is in opposite direction, you can easily find out that it is a repulsive force. Okay, so then the force on each wire will be in opposite direction. So these are shown in the figure 5 point in that diagram only we have seen. Okay, so now the diagram here 5.11 it is given here, and 5.10 and 5.11 also. Magnetic lines, how the magnetic lines will be when the attractive forces and during the repulsive forces. Attractive forces, a continuous circular path. Okay, so here at the bend you will have more number of lines. Okay, whereas in the repulsive part you can see here half circle and here half circle, that is two circular paths you can see on the repulsive force, during the repulsive force. So next we will see connection between electricity and magnetism. So far we have seen magnetic effect, magnetic current, so and so. So what is the connection between this magnetic electricity and magnetism? Before 18th century, people thought that magnetism and electricity were separate subjects of study. After Oertz's experiment, the electricity and magnetism were united and become a single subject called electromagnetism. So what is electromagnetism? When magnetism and electricity become a combined study, it is called as electromagnetism. When there is current, the magnetic field is produced and the current carrying conductor behaves like a magnet. So you may now wonder, how was it possible for a lodestone to behave like a magnet when there was no current passing through it, right? So lodestone is a natural current and we are not passing any current, but it is naturally possessing a magnetic effect. So how does that behave like a magnet? So only in the 20th century we understood that the magnet's property arises due to the motion of electrons in the lodestone. So after the discovery they found that there are electrons moving from one pole to the other pole. That is why lodestone behaves like a magnet. So in the circuit the electrons flow from negative of the battery to positive of the battery and constitutes current. So as a result it produces magnetic field. In natural magnets and artificial magnets that we buy in shops, the electrons move around. The artificial magnets that we buy in shops, the electrons move around the nucleus, constitutes current, which leads to magnetic property. Here, every orbiting electron in its orbits is like a current carrying loop. Even though in all the materials electrons orbit around the nucleus, only for certain materials electrons orbit around the nucleus, and only for certain type of material called magnetic material, the motion of electrons around the nucleus gets added up, and as a result we have permanent magnetic field. So whenever we pass a current on the magnet, it gets added up. The magnetic field gets added up and it will become permanent magnetic field. Okay, so now we will see very important brief answer. Electric motor, construction and working of the electric motor. Very important question, children. Listen properly, keep the book in your hand and go through the book. An electric motor is a device which converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. This electric motor helps us to run the electrical appliances like fan or motor, whatever it is. A fan also has motor in it. When the motor runs, the fan rotates, right? So electric motor is a device which converts electrical energy into mechanical work is done. So it is called as mechanical energy. So when you pass the electric current, the work is done. So it is called as electrical energy gets converted to mechanical energy. So electric motors are crucial in modern life. Very, very important in today's life. So they are used in water pump, fan, washing machine, juicer, mixer, grinder, etc. So very important household appliances, everything possesses this electrical motor. We have already seen that when an electric current is passed through a conductor placed normally in a magnetic field, a force is acting on the conductor and this force makes the conductor to move. So this is harnessed to construct an electric motor. So this helps to find the construction of the electric motor. Whenever current is passed on a magnetic field, it starts working, it starts moving, right? So this help us to find, to invent that electric motor can convert an appliance to work. So electrical energy can be get converted to mechanical energy. So to understand how a motor works, we need to understand how a current carrying coil experiences a turning effect. Okay, so when the coil in the motor turns, the current is produced. Okay, so we have to understand the working of the motor, the coil inside the motor. How does it produces the turning effect when placed inside a permanent magnetic field? So that is given here in the diagram C. So this is the diagram for the motor, electric motor. So you have two permanent magnets, north and south. Okay, so this A, B, C, D is the coil. A, B, C, D is the coil, and in the center you have the axis of rotation. Okay, A, B, C, D is the coil. In the center you have the axis of the rotation. Force is acting downwards here. Force is acting downwards. Okay, and the current and the C, you can see the arrow mark of the current flowing here from here to down in the D part. Okay, so this is the diagram. So you can see the circular rings, that is the magnetic field that exists between north pole and the south pole of the magnet. Okay, so there is a magnetic flux between the north pole and the south pole. So now this flux helps the material, the electrical appliance what is kept in between the north pole and the south pole will move. Okay, so this helps the electric motor, the coil. This helps the coil to rotate. This is called as turning effect of the coil. So now we will see this in brief. Okay, so this is diagram is given in perpendicular direction also. The turning effect of the current. See, current out and current in. Okay, so when the current goes like this towards inner of the coil A, B, then C and D, it comes out. So when goes in, the coil rotates for half of the direction towards like this. Okay, so when current comes out, again the coil rotates for the other half of the direction. So this will constitute the turning effect of the coil. So the diagram is given here. See, so when current comes in, the coil rotates like this, and current goes out, the coil again rotates like this. So this will become a continuous process which helps the coil to rotate continuously. So this makes the electrical appliance to run. So hence the electrical energy which we pass here gets converted into mechanical energy. So this is the turning effect in a coil. Okay, the diagrams are very, very important. You must practice to draw the diagram well, children. So now we will have a brief note of the electric motor. So in figure 5.12, a simple coil is placed inside two poles of the magnet. Now look at the current carrying conductor segment AB. Direction of the current is towards B, whereas in the conductor segment CD, the direction is opposite. As the current is flowing in opposite directions in the segments AB and CD. So AB current is inwards and in CD current is outwards. So current flows in opposite direction of the coil. The direction of the motion of the segments would be in opposite directions according to Fleming's left-hand rule. Naturally, current and the magnetic field are perpendicular in nature, that is opposite, flows opposite. So when two ends of the coil experience force in opposite direction, they starts rotating. So this is the full picture of the electric motor. Permanent magnet, you have permanent magnet, that is north and south pole, and coil here A, B, C, D. See the points here, these A, B, C, D is the coil. Okay, so this is north pole and the south pole, that is permanent magnet. Then carbon brush. you can see a small screw like this. This is a carbon brush and you have the circuit connection here. So the slip rings are called as commutator, half ring you can see here, that is the commutator, and carbon brush again on the other side of the slip. Then this is the permanent magnet. Okay, these are the parts of the motor. So if the current flows in along the line ABCD, then the coil will rotate in clockwise direction. When current flows in the coil ABCD, coil rotates in clockwise direction first and then in anti-clockwise direction. So if we want to make the coil rotate in any one direction, say clockwise, if we are going to rotate the coil in only one direction, for example, it is given as clockwise, then the direction of the current should be along ABCD in the first half of the rotation and along DCBA in the reverse direction. Okay, totally in the reverse direction of the coil, the second half of the rotation. So if you pass the current like this, the coil will move in one particular direction, in clockwise direction. So to change the direction of the current, a small device used here is called a split ring. So what is the work of the split ring commutator here? It will change the direction of the current. It will change the direction of the current. So that is why the small device split ring is used. Split ring commutator is used. So when the gap in the split ring commutator is aligned with the terminals X and Y, there is no flow of current in the coil. But as the coil is moving, it continues to move forward, bringing one of the split ring commutator in contact with the carbon brushes X and Y. When there is no current, there won't be any movement of the coil. But when it starts moving, the split rings and the carbon brushes will come into contact. Okay, split rings and carbon brushes will come into contact. So the reversing of the current is repeated at each half rotation. So when they come into contact, the current gets reversed. Again, the coil starts moving towards the same direction. So giving the rise to a continuous rotation of the coil. So when the current automatically gets reversed, the coil starts moving in the same direction. So this is a continuous process that happens inside the coil. So the speed of the rotation of the coil can be increased by, may asked in 2 mark also. The speed of the coil may be increased by increasing the strength of the current in the coil. Increasing the strength of the current in the coil. Okay. Then increase the number of turns in the coil. You can give more number of current carrying conductor, that is the coil. Increasing the area of the coil, maybe bigger coil or a smaller thin coil, thick or thin coil. Increasing the strength of the magnetic field. You can use powerful magnet than what we are actually shown here. So these are the things which we use for the electric motor. Okay, so how do you increase the rotation of the coil? Increasing the strength of the current in the coil, increasing the number of turns in the coil, increasing the area of the coil, and increasing the strength of the magnetic field. Now we will see a small picture, the working of the electric motor. See here, north pole, south pole, okay, magnets, and the current flows. When the current flows, the coil inside the magnet starts rotating, okay, and the current, so the wave diagram is given here. The continuous wave diagram shows that the current flows continuously. When the current flows continuously, the split rings gets move inside the permanent magnet. Okay, children, so now we will see the book exercises. We will see the rest of the topics in the next session, the second part 2. Okay, so now we will discuss the answers for choose. Which of the following converts electrical energy into mechanical energy? Motor. Okay, so about transformer and all you don't know now. So about generator, the third question, and the fourth question you can answer, I think. The unit of magnetic flux density is, what is the unit of magnetic flux density? It is Weber meter square. It is Weber meter square. C, not Weber. Okay, it is the unit of magnetic flux density. It is asked magnetic flux density. The unit is Weber per meter square. Then fill and see. The SI unit of magnetic field in induction is Tesla. It is Tesla. The answers will be uploaded in PDF. Okay, so we are just discussing the answer. Don't worry if I didn't copy and all. Second, devices which is used to convert high alternating current to low alternating current is transformer. This you don't know. Electric motor converts. This you can answer. Motor. Electric motor converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. Electrical energy into mechanical energy. Okay, electric motor converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. The device used for producing electric current is generator. So this also you don't know. Match the following. Magnetic material. What is magnetic material here? Iron. So iron is the first answer. Non-magnetic material here is wood. Okay. Then current and magnetism is found by Oersted. So iron is the first answer, wood is the second answer. Then Oersted is the third one. Electromagnetic and induction. Electromagnetic and induction was discovered by Faraday. Then electric generator induction. Okay, and true or false? Generator converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. Of course, we studied about motor, right? Motor converts electrical energy into mechanical energy, whereas generator converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. When I teach, you will understood that. You will come to know about it. See the second question. Magnetic field lines always repel each other and do not intersect. Yes, it is true. The first one is also true. Fleming's left-hand rule is also known as dynamo rule. No, it is false. Fleming's left-hand rule is known as motor rule, not dynamo rule. Okay, motor rule. The speed of rotation of an electric motor can be increased by decreasing the area of the coil. That is false. It is not decreasing, it is increases. So other questions and all you don't know. After the second session we can discuss. Now we will see the brief answers. So you have 8 brief answers, right? So state Fleming's left-hand rule. So this you can read. Okay, state Fleming's left-hand rule. You can read. Define magnetic flux density. This also you can know. You know. List the main parts of the electric motor. This also you can answer. Generator you don't know. So fourth question you don't know. State that one AC. That all you don't know. Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. 8th question you can answer. Okay. 8th question you can answer. So go through this questions. Okay, first brief answers. First question, second question and third question are the homeworks. Orally I may ask during the live class. Okay, so detail, explain the principle and construction working of a DC motor, explain 2 types of transformers. So all these things we will discuss in the next session. Okay children, have a nice day. Thank you.